All tanks, whether fuel, ballast, or freshwater, are provided with sounding pipes which run vertically through the tank from top to bottom. These pipes are provided with caps to keep the tank watertight. For manual measurement of sounding,
Before we move any further, let me introduce you to Merchant Navy Decoded's Deck Cadet package, an all-in-one package which will help you sail through your campus placement interviews as well as your cadetship, because this particular package contains study material which will help you clear the entrance test of any company, and also you have technical content which will also help you clear the interview and make sure that the interviewer finds you quite suitable for working on board ships. And also, if you have the knowledge through the Deck Cadet package, you will be a knowledgeable and sound cadet on board, and in return you will be earning respect. So what are you waiting for? Go take trial on merchantnavydecoded.com of this particular package, and if you find this package good enough, do invest. Thank you and happy learning.
a measuring tape normally made up of brass and steel with a weighted bob attached at the end of the tape using a strap hook is used. After applying the paste, lower the tape inside the pipe and make sure it strikes the striker plate at the bottom of the tank. Then coil up the tape and check for impression of paste and then note the sounding from the sounding tape.
Welcome friends. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of manual soundings on ship. In this video, we'll uncover why manual soundings are important and how it's done. So why do we need manual soundings? There is a lot of automation on board, a lot of things are automated, but automation cannot be always relied upon. And that's where manual sounding comes to our rescue. These ships are designed with huge ballast tanks, which are used to provide adequate stability to the ship. When we take water ballast in these tanks, the height of the water that is reached in particular tank is called the sounding of that tank. It could be 2 meters, it could be 5 meters, it could be 7 meters, depending on the design of the ship and tank. Now, through automation, we have always automated soundings available on the ballast control room, where the system is automatically measuring how much water is inside the tank. But like I said in the beginning, automation cannot be relied always. There we have to take this sounding and measure the height of water inside the tank manually by using a sounding tape. You see, the ship floats in the water. So there is always risk of water getting into the ship. And it could go in any compartment. It could enter an engine room, it could enter in cargo holds, in the stores, and in the bow thruster room, in the pipe duct. So as it is floating in the water, this risk always exists. So in case of emergency, if there is a grounding, if there is a collision, or there is a hull breach due to some reason, and ship is taking a lot of water from outside, in that scenario also we'll have to take manual soundings. Because not all compartments have automated systems to measure the sounding of that compartment. Sounding is a term that is used on board for taking the measurement of the amount of liquids in all tanks on board the ship. On board ships, it is very important to keep an accurate and updated record of all the fluids in any form. It may be water, it may be fuel, it may be cargo in different tanks of the ship. Manual soundings are taken by ship staff on regular basis. But there are certain scenarios and certain operations where manual sounding has to be taken without fail. For example, if you are taking fuel on board and you have to calculate how much fuel is already received in tanks, you will have to take manual soundings of those fuel tanks. If you have just received fresh water, to measure the amount of water that you have received, you will need a manual sounding. If the vessel is about to arrive to a port or before departure from the port, ballast tanks need to be manually sounded to have an accurate calculation of the stability of the vessel. Then in case there is a change of command, if master is changing, then accurate amount of bunker is calculated so that he can hand over the correct amount to the next incoming master. Same thing with the chief engineer. If there is chief engineer is changing, he would take accurate manual soundings and hand over correct amount of fuel to the incoming chief engineer. If the vessel is going to dry dock, then you would need manual soundings. If there is an emergency, as I discussed before also, grounding, collision, or vessel is taking water from outside, then you would need manual soundings to be taken and accurate manual soundings. So in all these scenarios, it is very important to take manual soundings, and that's why it is important that a cadet is familiarized and is confident that his soundings are always correct. Cadet, our off-peak sounding gauge is not working. Please get the manual sounding.
Okay, sir, I'll get it.
All tanks, whether fuel, ballast, or freshwater, are provided with sounding pipes which run vertically through the tank from top to bottom. These pipes are provided with caps to keep the tank watertight. Before you take the sounding, you'll have to remove this cap. For manual measurement of sounding, a measuring tape normally made up of brass and steel with a weighted bob attached at the end of the tape using a strap hook is used. Sounding tape comes in meter or feet metric, with bob is mostly of cylindrical shape and torpedo shape. A stainless steel tip on the brass dip weight prevents wear down. Graduation in millimeter continues on one side of the dip weight to eliminate any blind spots. Generally, the dip weight available for measuring water and similar fluid is approximately 400 grams. Bob weight of 700 grams to 1000 grams are most commonly one for the oil and fats. These are special pastes which are applied on the sounding tape. They are normally available for water sounding and gasoline or diesel oil sounding, as they are transparent in color and difficult to detect in the measuring tape. The paste is applied on the sounding tape, and when it comes in contact with the water or gas oil, it will change its color, indicating the level. After applying the paste, lower the tape inside the pipe and make sure it strikes the striker plate at the bottom of the tank. Then coil up the tape and check for impression of paste, and then note the sounding from the sounding tape. To avoid wear down of the sounding tapes, ensure to clean sounding tape after each use, especially post heavy oil fluid tank measurement. Sounding tape to be stored in its drum after cleaning. Tangled or unrolled sounding tape edges tend to wear at a faster rate, which may eventually break.
Captain sir, come in.
Yes, go ahead.
Captain sir, off peak sounding 2.10 meter. I repeat, 2.10 meter.
Alright, you can come back.
Okay sir, I'm coming back.
And there you have it, folks. The ins and outs of the manual sounding on ships. A practice that safeguards our environment and ships. Thank you for joining me in this educational journey. And until next time, fair winds and following seas.